Okay, class. So this demo is the muscles of the thigh region. We are still talking about the muscles that move the knee joint and muscles that move the femur. In this group, we have one muscle, a single muscle that's inserted into both femur and tibia. And so technically it moves the femur and the tibia. So anterior compartment, that's what we are talking about. We talked about the medial compartment already, muscles of the medial compartment. Now we're going to talk about the muscles of the anterior compartment. Okay, so again, just quick recap. Here we have the largest adductor or the most critical, sorry, not adductor, most critical abductor, the tensor fasciae latae. This white part that you are looking at, right, this whole whitish band, this is the iliotibial tract or band. I prefer tract, but some call it band, and that's okay too. Okay. Also here, right around the patella, right there, all of this, what we are looking at, this is the patellar tendon. You recall we're also learning some fibrous structures, linea alba, lumbodorsal fascia, iliotibial tract, patellar ligament, and calcaneal tendon. So this is the patellar tendon. Here is the iliotibial tract. We'll look at that in a second. So recap, tensor fasciae latae, sartorius, yes, medial compartment. So I'm going to write most of it on the left. So here, sartorius, right here. Well, not this. And then, think about, okay, this is sartorius. Okay, then medial to the sartorius, this muscle on both sides, here and here, these two. This is the adductor longus. Then the most superficial medial muscle, this is the this is the gracilis. Okay. Now the anterior compartment, the muscles of the anterior compartment. So I'm going to erase all of this and start with the muscles of anterior compartment. So the muscles of the anterior compartment, basically you are talking about the quadriceps femoris, which consists of four muscles. Quadriceps meaning four muscles. These are all inserted. They have origin in different parts of the os coccyx, some in the ilium and some in ilium and ischium, some in the pubis. So basically, we are talking about four different muscles. They're all inserted into patellar tendon, with the exception of rectus femoris, which has multiple insertion. So primarily, these are inserted into patellar tendon, which is right here. Okay. So the four muscles are of quadriceps femoris are right in the middle, the largest one, rectus femoris, which is this muscle shown by the black arrow, rectus femoris. On either side of the rectus femoris are the vastus lateralis and vastus medialis. Vastus meaning flat. These are flatter muscles. So you know lateral and medial, you can very well name these appropriately as vastus lateralis, notice on the lateral side, and Vastus medialis. Opposite, right there, rectus femoris, vastus lateralis. You can see the vastus medialis. Okay. So enlarge that. Basically, we are looking at the same muscles. So sartorius, iliopsoas. We are going to do a quick review. Iliopsoas, pectineus, adductor brevis, adductor longus, gracilis, adductor magnus. Recall muscles of the medial compartment. And now here we can see vastus medialis. This is the medial compartment, that's the medial side. Vastus lateralis. And here it is, rectus femoris. Okay, you can see rectus femoris, vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, and you can kind of see the tensor fasciae latae in this one too. Same thing. I'm not going to do the, well, actually, let's do the quick recap here too. Psoas major, iliacus, sartorius, tensor fasciae latae, iliotibial tract, right there. Okay, vastus lateralis, rectus femoris, vastus medialis. So once again, recap. Sartorius, the only muscle that goes from lateral to medial. Gracilis, adductor longus, pectineus, and right there in between the two, adductor brevis. Okay, so that covers again medial and anterior compartment. I'm just doing a review of everything. So you can identify things here. Iliotibial tract, tensor fasciae latae, sartorius, pectineus, adductor longus, adductor brevis, vastus medialis, rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, patellar tendon. So likewise, you can identify the same model is being shown from different perspective. This is nice one because you can see the adductor brevis well. But make sure you identify everything, and you can see the adductor magnus here too. Adductor magnus is mostly visible on the other side of the gracilis. So posteromedial, that's where magnus is more visible. Anteromedial, that's where adductor longus is more visible. Iliopsoas. So you can identify this, tensor fasciae latae. So identify all of the muscles that we see. So now, the fourth muscle of the anterior compartment of the quadriceps femoris rectus intermedius. Okay. Sorry, not rectus, vastus intermedius. Vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, and vastus intermedius. Vastus intermedius is visible only when rectus femoris is removed. So imagine this is being removed, or this is being removed. Make sure you identify all the muscles here. We have done this. I have done this demo before, just from different perspective. So right here, this is the rectus femoris. Rectus femoris removed. Notice rectus femoris is removed. You can see the cut patellar tendon, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, and here this muscle, this muscle. This is vastus intermedius. You can also nicely see that with the sartorius being removed, you can see the iliopsoas really well, because the sartorius has also been removed, and the tensor fasciae latae, both have been removed. So you can clearly see the rectus femoris removed, sartorius removed, tensor fasciae latae removed. You can nicely see the iliopsoas. You can see the pectineus, the adductor brevis, adductor longus, gracilis, adductor magnus, so on and so forth. Okay, the same thing, same muscle, it's just on a different model, but the same group of muscles. Make sure you identify all of this. Okay, make sure you identify the tensor fasciae latae, again, iliopsoas, vastus intermedius, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis. This is still, all of that is patellar tendon. Now here we can see the gracilis, the medial compartment again. You can see the gracilis, the posteromedial, adductor magnus, adductor magnus. Now the posterior compartment. For the posterior compartment, the group of muscle that we see on the posterior compartment, we refer to these as hamstrings. All of you have heard that, quadriceps femoris and hamstrings. Okay. So hamstrings, which is the group that's present on the posterior compartment of the thigh, femoral region. The three muscles are biceps femoris, semitendinosus, and semimembranosus. Okay, so biceps femoris, I'm just writing them together. Semitendinosus, semimembranosus. Semitendinosus and semimembranosus exist together. All three are the hamstrings group, out of which tendinosus and membranosus coexist together. Tendinosus is superficial, membranosus is deep. Also, these two are medial, while the biceps femoris is lateral. So, you understand the medial and lateral, facing the inner side of the thigh, facing the outer side of the thigh, posteriorly. Okay, or you can take the knee as your landmark to know the medial and lateral. or you can even take the muscles of the medial compartment. Okay. So here, since we are looking at, I'm going to erase some of these writing. Erase the hamstrings, biceps femoris, that writing altogether. So for the posterior compartment, since we are looking at the posteromedial, of course, we can see the medial side in this model. You can see the lateral muscle too. So hamstrings. Notice, I'm just going to draw a line between the two muscles that coexist together right there. See, this is superficial, this is deep. And here is the demarcation line between this and this. So this is biceps femoris, which is, of course, you can see lateral. Now here is semi-tendinosus, as you can see. And below that is the semi-membranosus. As we just learned, membranosus is deep, tendinosus is superficial. So tendinosus, membranosus together, coexist together on the medial side. Of course, this is medial. You can see adductor magnus, gracilis. This is the posteromedial medial compartment, and we're looking at the posteromedial view. While this is pretty much the model is turned so that you are looking at the medial muscles, some of the anterior group too. So you can see rectus femoris, vastus medialis, sartorius, adductor longus, adductor magnus, gracilis, adductor magnus, adductor magnus. Here you can see the semi-membranosus, and on top of that, superficial to that, you see the semi-tendinosus. You can see gluteus maximus. So make sure that you learn these models while, or rather their images, from different angle. They are turned sometimes little too medial, turned posteriorly, turned anteriorly, so that you can see posteromedial, anteromedial aspects. Similarly, posterolateral, anterolateral, as we'll see later. So it's the same model. Now you are looking at the other side, so that you can see the semi-tendinosus, semi-membranosus, again the same thing, gracilis, adductor magnus. This is 2 adductor magnus, adductor longus, iliopsoas, sartorius, vastus medialis, rectus femoris, patellar tendon, gluteus maximus. So you can continue to learn this as they are turned different way. Iliotibial tract, patellar tendon. So anterior compartment, medial compartment. We talked about that. This is the lateral compartment, anterior compartment, medial compartment, and we looked at the posterior compartment too. So here, this is the posterior compartment. So you can clearly see now biceps femoris, semi-tendinosus, and below that, semi-membranosus. So this is the border of the tendinosus. Below that, I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use blue for semi-membranosus right there. See that. Semi-membranosus. Magnus gracilis. So here, this is the nice view of the tensor fasciae latae. Tensor fasciae Latin, right there, and the iliotibial tract. You can make sure that you also identify the gluteus medius, the gluteus maximus, and here is the lateral aspect, biceps femoris. You can actually see part of this is the vastus lateralis, the rectus femoris. You can see part of the adductor magnus here too. Okay, so that completes our muscles of the femoral region, which is divided into anterior, medial, and posterior compartments. Make sure that you go through all the images and learn all of the muscles. I'm pretty much have pointed out at most of them on almost all models, but make sure you learn them on your own too. Whichever image I did not cover, maybe it's turned slightly differently. Basically, it's the same model, same images.